right. I know. I'm always late. You know, what's going on, everybody? We back with another one, man. Can We Keep It Real podcast, another Tuesday night show. Unfortunately, we don't have our friends over at Voice Sports. They're away on assignment today, we'll call it. But Godspeed to our friends over there. Samson the Bad Guy, Wayne the Voice, Matthew doing his thing, doing great things over there. So I'm sure we'll hook up with them next week. Big shout out to Rally Point. The only way to stand is together. And definitely go pick up Pastor Pennington's book, Through the Smoker. Definitely go to rallypointmensministries.org. You definitely great book. We'll get that music up out of here, man. Big shout out to Mark Wright, Coldwell Banker, Coastal Homes, man. Mark Wright. Give him a call, 401-787-5203, a presidential award winner. And we always try to support people that support youth sports because you know what? Very seldom does anybody listen to what the kids are saying. Down here in Rhode Island, Saturday, May 7th, the Unified Basketball Championship at Bishop Hendricken High School. And then Wednesday, May 11th at 11 a.m., you got the RIIL Awards luncheon at the Valley Country Club. And Saturday, May 14th, 10 a.m., the co-ed outdoor track division meet. So definitely stay tuned for more Rhode Island high school sports events, because someone got to be picking up the youth. And don't forget, everybody's welcome. May 16th, the Fed Hill Memorial Day Cookout. It's going to be up Lincoln Woods. You're all invited. I said, bring a friend, bring a friend. 16 years Fed Hill been doing this. This started in Southside, Providence, Rhode Island, a cookout in someone's backyard to just celebrate the lives of people that we lost along the way. So big shout out to Fed Hill, the Low Lives, Block Royal. Big shout out to Candyland Inflatables. And listen, if you go to the Fed Hill page, they have a cookout page. You can register to win a limousine ride to and from Lincoln Woods that day. It's going to be field A and B. Never been an argument there, people. There's going to be bounce houses for the kids, popcorn, cotton candy. There's going to be DJs there. Some of New England's premier DJs are going to be there. So definitely get out to Fed Hill. Great chance to meet a lot of them great guys over there doing it. And check it out. This might be something for Coach Pennington, which we have a guest coming up. The best dish, winner takes home $100. But they're saying $100 ain't much. It's the bragging rights. And to our people down the DMV, Champion Drive really got what's going on. Definitely give them a call. And always, you got to put this stupid disclaimer up now. But I don't think we're going to be killing anyone today, throwing people under the bus today. But Coach Pennington, Pastor Pennington, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Mikey? How's it going, man?
Another day, gracious to be above ground. Slow motion better than no motion.
Hey, I was feeling that beat, man, that you was playing earlier, man. I was digging that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, people don't know the pastor has some flow.
Yeah, I used to when I was in college, I used to DJ.
There you go. We'll have to hear some of your mixes. On the other side of this table, I actually have some. I got my Roland GDXI. It's a nice little synthesizer. It's pretty cool. I didn't make that beat, but I found, you know what it is. I've been getting hit with copyright strikes left and right, and it's like I'm trying to find like something that I'm not gonna get hit with copyright strikes. But it seems the beat, yeah, that is a pretty nice little mellow beat.
Yeah. I like that. I was digging it.
How's the book coming?
Good. Getting good reviews. Everyone, pretty much that I've talked to that has read it, really enjoy it. And like I said, it's a quick read. I purposely made it a small book because I know guys don't want to read big, thick books. So I made it, something that guys won't be intimidated to read, and they can go in and they can read it and hopefully, get something from it.
And that's the same as with your podcast as well, that they're short to the point, 20, 25 minutes. Is there a reason for that? Is that
Yeah,
strategically done?
absolutely. Yeah. So I realized that the attention span for most people is about 20 minutes. So they'll tune in, they'll watch for about 20 minutes, they'll listen. After that, they start to either tune out or they get distracted. So I try to, put a lot of information about 20, 25 minutes and then get out of there so that I can catch them at their peak
Especially
attentiveness.
as men. As men, our attention span is probably about 2.2 minutes,
Yeah.
and then we start drifting away.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
second season
And
West Warwick Wizards, man. Oh, what was you gonna say? I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, I can't do it like you. You got it all down. You got this thing down packed. So we're only on Fridays at 6 o'clock. We do our 25 minutes, and then I try to do another short take, about about 5 to 10 minutes on a Saturday, just with something that I want to just share.
6 years, Wes. I've been doing this. It took a long time before, and you see, some days my delivery is way off. I asked a couple coaches, what can I improve, and I don't mind taking criticism. Like, I give a lot of criticism also. I don't mind taking it. Um, a lot of, like, some people said, just if you could deliver it a little better. So I've been working on the delivery, but some of these people we deal with just is you know it's tough. But I learned to freestyle it, so you'll get there. I like your podcast. Go check out Pastor Pennington's podcast, not Coach. It's always either Coach Pennington, Pastor Pennington, you know, um, Officer Pennington. You wear so many hats, but definitely go check all Pastor Pennington's podcasts out on his Facebook page, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think you put me backstage.
No, no, I don't think so. You're still here. I
I'm
hear
still
you.
there. All
Yeah,
right.
can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, I got you. Yeah.
All right.
So, Rally Point men's podcast. Friday nights at 6, Saturdays at 6. And come check us out. Come listen in, especially if you're a man out there trying to figure things out. Hopefully, we can lead you down the right path.
I'm ready to get back on the new version of the pod. Have I been on the new one? I know I was on the old version, the audio. Have I been on
You on the
video?
old. Nah, I got to get you on, man. I got to bring you on. Yeah, because
That's
I got to
right.
talk to you about this whole podcast game and how that works. So we got to get you
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Salute to what you're doing. Men's ministries, all the youth breakfast that you're doing. We talked about fatherless homes a lot, and that's why I love what you do. We need more mentors in the community.
Yeah, I got to shout out to my next book. I'm finishing up the final edits. Well, actually, not the edits yet, but I'm finishing up the final writing of it. It's going to be called Abba, which is going to deal with fatherhood. So, yeah, I'm excited about that, man. I'm like really excited about that.
And if you want to order the book, the link is on the screen actually right now. If I got it right this time, I should have. And definitely get out to the Sacred Exchange Fellowship, 75 Division Road, Warwick, Rhode Island. It's like a church you'll never forget, from what I hear.
Hey, we have our Thursday night services from 7 to about 8:30, and then we meet every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. So hey, yeah, if you're free, we'd love to see you. Come drop by, stop in, come say hello. Absolutely.
Yeah, great thing. West Warwick football, the boys are in the gym. I see that you're sending a kid on your first year in West Warwick. Kid goes on to college. Congratulations to him, but also congratulations to you as well.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to do and help to bring into the program is let these guys know that I know a lot of college coaches and they're going to come down. They'll be coming to our practices, checking out kids practice, and just watching. So if you want to go to college, play at the next level, then you got to get the work in. You got to do what you need to do. Yeah, Richie Medeiros, he's going on to play at UMass Dartmouth, and so we're happy for him, and we're excited, for what he's going to do at the next level. But we're still getting the work in and getting ready for this upcoming season.
And it's so important that you do the weight room, and it's so important to see what kids show up in the off season. Because they don't really have to show. I shouldn't say that, but they're like, really, coach. Coach never said that.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, but it does. It shows their dedication to the sport, and to getting better, and that's important, And plus, it builds camaraderie with the team, bringing the unity together, because if you're in there sweating, pushing together, you're going to be able to play together. So there's a lot of components that actually come together in the off season. I truly believe that you win your championships in the off season. You don't win them playing on Friday nights.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. And people that don't know, West Warwick has a very strong football history. I think you're like right behind Burrville for the most Super Bowls in RAIL history since 1932. I think you got like 21 in Division Two. Let me see. Yeah, it says per RIAL website, you got like 21 in Division Two. You got 4 in Division. Schools that have won consecutive championships. West Warwick with 4. So they have a rich history over there.
Yeah, and I'm looking to bring that history back and bring that culture back for these kids so that they can, get out here and get that number one title back. I figure I'll stick around long enough to get that back before I retire and hang up the whistle.
We're gonna see like Major Payne this year with the whistle. Are you gonna bring out the old drill sergeant hat? Let's go. Boys better be scared this year.
Hey, it's on this year. Hey, it's on this year. We know each other now. No time, no time to be slacking. It's time to get at it and get with this thing. We got something to do.
No time to be slacking. And now you go down to Division 3, and the competition didn't get easier. I mean, it's still going to be competitive. So I don't think you really caught a break there. How do you feel about
absolutely not.
this season?
Absolutely not. I think that Division 3 is going to be very, very competitive. I think the Division 2 teams that came down are all teams that are going to be competitive in that division. And I think there's some really good Division 3 teams that were in there last year. Then you got the championship team from Division 4 that's getting bumped up in Pontiac. So yeah, I'm expecting have week in week out good football games. You got Narragansett, they're a really good program. Pilgrim, get to play my man Blakey this year, so that'll be good to see him on the sideline. Haven't played against him yet. So you got Moses Brown, you got Mount Hope. So there's going to be some good football games.
Yeah, you definitely have some. You're gonna have some great games this season, and you're gonna have some good kids returning. DeAndre Chase, I think, is back. Is this going to be his senior season?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're coming in with about 20 seniors this year. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. It's everybody's saying, oh, you got 20 seniors, but these guys, they've had a kind of a struggle for the last few years. So we just got to get it right, get it together, and we could possibly put something together. We'll see.
That's right. Because you took over a program that was kind of a little bit down, and you're picking it up right now, and the kids seem to be buying in. Any new looks this year? What are we gonna see? Anything?
Well, I know we're getting some new uniforms, and just changing, like I said, changing the culture. We're gonna do some things differently, offensively and defensively. So yeah, it's time to turn it up. Last year was the get to know you stage. This year it's let's go.
If you got a few minutes to stick around, we're gonna bring Coach Ryan McCormack in. Like, who does it like Ryan? 9 years up there at UMass Dartmouth. He's been coaching like at least 23 years. We're gonna bring him up. So if you got a few minutes, and but before that, everybody definitely go check out Through the Smoker. You can go to rallypointmensministries.org. Pick up Pastor Pennington's new book. Support him. He has another book coming out. So definitely support him. We're going to bring in, some call him cornbread. Ryan McCormack. What's good, my guy?
What's going on, Mikey?
All right. Coach Pennington's also up here. He's
Well,
the one without the camera on, the little guy in the
yeah.
corner.
What's
You
going on,
know,
Coach?
What's going on?
Not much. We were just going over some West Warwick football, and I said, if you got a few minutes, I got Ryan McCormack coming on next. You know, if you wanted to stick in, he was like, yeah, definitely. So what's up, Ryan? Staying busy?
You could say that.
I bet you are, man. You know, those of you that don't know, Ryan McCormack has been at UMass Dartmouth 9 years so far, right?
Yeah, this is year number 9 coming up. Yep.
9 years. What has been your ups and downs like coming up to this point?
We were, I would say, our 2018 season back, we kept getting nailed with the injury bug. We were always real competitive, and then every year there'd be a point, game 5, game 6, or game 7, where we'd have key catastrophic injuries, which would cost us winning the title or being close. All those years, we had a guy back in 2016 named Eddie Sheridan. He was the number 3 rusher in the country. We lose him at the last 3 games of the year to an injury. And we had actually beaten Framingham that year. We was in our conference, who's won it, I think, like 8 of the last 10 years. We beat them, and then we lose him in the Bridgewater game and lose our other running back the next game, and then the wheels fall off. So we had been kind of chipping away at that tree, so to speak, for years, and we'd always start out hot, and then injuries would happen. And I finally kind of like said my angle on it, my experience coaching other places. I said, well, we need to be deeper. And the worry was, well, how do you keep everybody happy? Having a bigger roster and having more talent, because everybody is only one football. So we went to personnel groupings and tempo on offense for both team chemistry, but also what we do to get more personnel on the field and get more reps. So and more plays in the game. So it's actually worked out really well. We will be the deepest we've ever been in 2022. We've never been this deep, this talented, this, I would legitimately say our 2 best running backs are definitely, kids that are going to get looked at by the next level. This is what they're doing now. I've posted recent videos of the weight room. They're putting up mega numbers. They're extremely athletic, extremely big. They don't look like traditional or average D3 running backs. They look like FBS running backs. So, and then the third one behind them is not far behind. He's a little bit leaner, about 195, 200, but just as fast and just as powerful. And so we're going to do some more different things to get him more touches this fall as well. And then the one behind him is even not much lesser than him. They're our 4 best backs, Mike, on offense could play for anyone else. But they want to play here because they want to win, and they want to play for a really good institution, so really good school. So, and we have a good group of class of backs come in. They're very talented. They're young behind them, freshmen. So the room is real deep. We've never been this deep. In my 9 years of being here, we never had 4 backs in this roster at once this good, much less what we're bringing in the freshman class. So, it's going to allow us to go be more productive deeper in the year. So we saw a glimpse of it this fall where we hit the New England Bowl. We had a lot of injuries, figured out in the last 6 games, went on a run. Now all those kids are seasoned. They have a lot of experience. So you influx a big freshman class of talent behind them. And when somebody will go down, the next man in will be just as good. And even the next man behind that person is going to be just as good. So, our special teams will be very good, and our offense and defense will be very good. So the injury bug won't have the impact it's had in the past in the course of the season. So, because it will be just next man up type mentality. So, and you're seeing a lot of NFL teams run with multiple backs like that now because of the wear and tear on the bodies. If you have a number 1 back and he goes down, if your number 2 is not at least 80% of his ability, you're in trouble production-wise. So you're seeing a lot of NFL teams carry multiple high-end backs to rotate and do different stuff with them. So makes sense. But
Coach
yeah,
Penn, Coach Penn, before I let you go, do you have any questions that you think any of your boys would want to ask Ryan, or any questions that you would have for Coach McCormack?
Yeah, right. So if you were going to give a senior coming into the senior year advice as to how to get noticed, what advice would you give them?
the number one piece of advice I can give anyone right now, there was already just in the last 48 hours, for example, 3 D3 players in New England get onto NFL rosters for preseason. That has never happened in the recent, that many kids in a small area. And there's probably been more the rest of this week. We had a very small senior class, so we don't have any of those guys in this class, that we're graduating this year. We will have a bunch potentially next couple of years. But with that said, is that the level of play at this level is going through the roof. There's only so many spots. The portal's changing everything. The ability to go in the portal and just jump school to school is like the reset button, but there's very little ways to stop it. So we got D1 transfers coming here left and right now. It's crazy. So with that being said, is the quality of football is going way up. So the ability to get on a roster is going to get much harder faster for every level of college football. So the number one thing I see what kids are getting scorched in this recruiting process is their grades. So we have a quarterback right now that wants to transfer here, but we can't touch him because of his grades. We had multiple running backs and multiple skill guys this year we liked, but we couldn't touch them because their academics are just not up to par. And there's a running back here in Rhode Island. I won't say his name for confidentiality reasons. He had reached out to us in this recruiting process. We didn't think he fit the mantra of our room because he wasn't big enough and fast enough to be comparable to what we already had. Though he's a good football player, he just didn't have a 225-pound, 6'1" frame that runs a 4.5 that benches almost 400 pounds. So he just didn't fit that mold. And good football player, not bad, but it just didn't fit what we were looking for. And what happened was, because of his grades, not really his ability, because he had a lot of good love and looks as far as his ability, his grades, he has no offers right now. He's not going anywhere. And that was the most frustrating thing to watch a kid go through that, because I'm like, well, you basically have limited your opportunities to zero. And high school kids think like, oh, as long as I have like C's, I'm good. That's not good. So that is a dicey level to play in. So, and this kid wasn't a horrific student. He just wasn't a good student. So, with the limited roster spots now, because the portal and transfers, if you don't have good grades, and when I say good, I mean your transcript better look like 80% A's and B's. I tell people all the time, A's and B's get degrees, D's you're gambling, and D's and F's you got nothing. So, it's important. Like, half the battle is just handing your stuff in and being respectful, interactive, and doing your homework on a daily basis. So it's no different than football. Like, if you're not going to work on your craft, you're not going to be very good. If you don't work on your homework, you don't lock in, like, do the sample things every day you would do from homework to master something, you're not going to be very good at that subject. And that's just how life is. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, if you're consistent, you work at things, you're going to get better. If you're not, you're going to be limited to your success. So school's no different.
Hey, Mikey, I like that so much. We need to record that so I can just blast it in my locker room.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to cut that piece out and get it over to Coach Pennington, West Warwick Wizards. They can actually watch the home games on YouTube this year as well as last season, right? Still going on?
Absolutely. And Coach, I plan on being up there. Hopefully, come up there and watch a couple of guys that I know on the team play.
We're excited. We're bringing in 22 Rhode Island kids in the freshman class. And, we return, 15 Rhode Island kids. We're going to have like 37 Rhode Island kids on the roster. We've never had that many here.
Wow.
25 last season. Awesome. Yep. We'll be talking about that soon. Definitely. That's exciting, man.
So Sarah asked a question, Sarah Lynn. So we don't limit player. I'm not against players playing multiple sports. Because what I'm going to say is this: good athletes train strength and conditioning year round. I don't care if you're in the NBA, Major League Baseball, football, hockey. No matter how many sports you play in the course of the year, built into their day, even if it's 30 minutes a day, 3-4 days a week, they should be doing consistent strength and conditioning so that their body continues to develop and stays healthy to sustain injuries. When people don't do strength conditioning and then work on pliability, flexibility, cardiovascular, injuries happen from wear and tear on the body. That's where some people are kind of against 2 sport athletes or 3 sport athletes. But for here at UMass, my attitude has always been is that, if you can play multiple sports in high school, do it. Now, so we don't pick a kid one over the other. If they play one sport, specialize, or play 2 or 3. My thing is like, if you want to get recruited, you go to summer prospect camps. That's just how it is. It's the way of the business. But bottom line is they all have to have good grades. I don't care if you take 30 sports a year or take 1. If you don't have good grades, it doesn't matter. So that's kind of a multifaceted question, but bottom line is you have to have good grades, period. Like, I don't care if you play football and just lift weights, you better have good grades. If you play 10 sports, you better have good grades. This is how it is.
So basically get to these summer camps that they have, especially the ones that, from what I know, that the universities have, Brown University, because people always ask me, Coach, what camps do they know are good for their kids to go to? Because there's 100 camps saying, come here, come here.
So first of all, when I just actually wrote an article for the American Football Coach Association that's going to come out in probably about 6-7 weeks during the summer. And Vince Johnson, Vince is the media relations guy for the AFCA. Him and Coach Reese, who are on the board for the AFCA, reached out to me and asked this exact question in relation to recruiting and like how has it changed over the years. What's changed, things of that nature. And I kind of, I started doing this 23 years ago. So I kind of just, went into my whole thing about it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to you got to go to prospect camps. Because years ago, you used to have these like 5-day or week-long like team camps where you just stay overnight and you'd be there for a week. And that was all good and stuff. But the problem was with that whole like deal is it was like people would go to like maybe 2 weeks of camp the whole summer, right? They go to 2 team camps usually and then they'd be done. But like you could have a bad week and that's not an accurate representation of your true skill set. Now, if you're going to 1-day prospect camps, you go to like 30 different camps. Now it's like the sum of the whole. Like you could have 2 horrible camps, but then 2 lights out camps. And then people will be like, oh, look how much better they got just by doing camps. And then what they're going to remember is the upside of the days you have great days at camp. So, I had a kid, I can say his name because we kind of recruited him. They went to prep school, then he went to Brown, Evan Fiala from Connecticut. And what made him better was camps. Like he was really good already. And what made him an Ivy League football player was that he went to all the Ivy League camps for one. He went to a bunch of Patriot League camps and a lot of FBS, FCS camps. And he went to Best of New England, which is the Bone Camp at Springfield. And went to New England Elite, which is ran by Coach Pappas. It's one of the biggest camps in the country. They were the league that's run that spring league, that high-end spring league right now here in New England. And so him doing those camps and continuing to get better and bigger, fast, stronger, that's how he got the offer to Brown. And kudos to Coach Willie Edwards because he was at a lot of these camps and saw this development over time and said, hey, this kid's a hidden gem and snagged him. And I think it's a steal for Brown. So it's like a hybrid tight end / wideout. He's a big kid. He's about 6'2.5", 6'3", about 230, but he can run, real athletic, big wideout, tight end, type of hybrid. So, and really good student, obviously. But yeah, I mean, the camps are the deal. You got to go to the camps. If you don't, it's marketing 101. If you're not at them, no one even knows you exist other than your huddle film. And that's, think about it. If you got a board of, 500 kids to look at for one position, and you're only giving out 2 slots for that one position, well, they can sit there and go, we had these mutants, 100 mutants at this 500-person board at over a dozen camps. This one kid went to one camp and only has huddle film, and he's okay, but I've seen more sample size of these other kids. So what happens is they're not going to take a gamble on a one-time shot of vanilla ice, so to speak, at one camp as well, where you're going to look at all the other people that have been like a dozen plus camps, and it's like killing it each camp. And they go, well, I know this kid kills it all the time. This kid did well at one camp. So it's like they're not going to gamble on it. Like I said, I make a good analogy of vanilla ice, like a one-hit wonder. So I'm going to date myself in the 90s. So like literally it's all about sample size. So these coaches want to see these kids. And a lot of coaches do multiple camps. So it's not like they're just at one camp. Now, the Ivies only have their own camps, but they will go be guest coaches at FBS camps. So I know many times, like, guys from Brown, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, UPenn, Dartmouth, they'll be at like UConn's camp or BC's camp, or so, like, as guest coaches. So really what happens is you get to see those kids again. And so that's my philosophy, is definitely, it becomes very, people get to know that kid, and then the coaches talk about like what they like, what they dislike, what's the upside on that kid. So, and then the camps are a big deal. I mean, that's why I do a ton of camps. It's helped us with our recruiting immensely. So as a guest coach, so, I mean, that's where the kids are at.
Your recruiting has definitely stepped up in the past couple of years. When you was back at Salve for a while, they had a ton of Rhode Island kids, and they was very successful. You was part of that program.
Yeah. So that was Liam's father, Tim Cohen, who was the head coach there, the first ever head coach there. He was very loyal to Rhode Island kids. He's a Rhode Island guy. And he basically had built a half to 3/4 of the roster was a Rhode Island all-star team. So he would find every bounce back kid from Division I that was from Rhode Island to, you name it. And so he just loaded this roster with Rhode Island kids, and he always was very loyal to them. So, and we had kids from other areas at Salve too, but he was him and Coach Arthur Bell, my mentor. So
shout out Arthur Bell. That's the name we don't talk about enough.
Yeah, he's retired now from coaching. He had cancer, and he is a really good coach and really smart guy. So those two guys were like my building blocks from back in the day. So they were two great resources to like learn from. And that's actually will be in my article. It's a multi-page article. It'll be on the AFCA website later this summer, where they had asked me, like, where did you learn how to do this? And I said, well, it all started way back then. And at the end of the day, people will think it's weird that like we'll take this kid but not that kid, and they always ask me. I said, well, I'm looking for certain attributes, and sometimes some kids don't fit, our fit that we're looking for, and other ones do. So sometimes you may not agree with it. We're not always right, but I think we've been more than right than wrong in the last 3-4 years. So especially 18 forward, we felt that we didn't have the COVID year 2020. That team would have been probably the best team in UMass Dartmouth history. That team was loaded. And then what happened was, because of semesters and stuff, some kids were done and ready to graduate, so they couldn't stay. And I get it. They went out in the real world. So there was about 5 or 6 key guys that would have been on that roster that year that were ultra good football players. And then we lost a couple of young kids that could have played right away because they didn't do well with the Zoom University call, which a lot of kids didn't. It was tough. It was very out of the box. Kids had no experience doing that, and it was a struggle. We would love to have those kids back because they're very good football players. So, COVID was rough. It was not easy. But I think we did one of the best jobs of any team in New England in D3 navigating the Sharks. There's other programs that took an absolute monstrous hit from COVID. I don't think are going to recover anytime soon. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out going forward.
Yeah, the only thing that slowed really you guys down from what I see is the construction that was going on. I mean, you guys just kept moving forward. So maybe I mean the freshman hall came out beautifully. That's completed, right?
Yeah, that's been completed for a bit. It was actually completed during the middle of COVID, but um, it was empty. I mean, that building sat empty for 3/4 of a year practically. So because it was done, it was ready to go for the fall 2020. But at that point, we had very few people on campus. So I think our campus had maybe 800 kids on it, not even, and we hold way more than that, like 6,000 plus. So it was a weird year, you know, for us that year. I mean, we did spring ball that COVID year, and I call that red light, green light, because every single time we started to make headway, somebody would pop positive, so we have to shut down, do the so many day protocol, and it kept rolling like that. It was like red light, green light, red light. It was literally, and finally, we actually didn't get all the practices in at the end. It was kind of frustrating as coaches, but it was what it was. So, um, and no one was really getting crazy sick, but these guys are in very good shape and really good health, so that definitely plays into it. But we have very good protocols. The school did a good job managing it. And we had during the fall semester, I think we had, this is exactly 100% accurate. I think we had 12 positive cases in the entire university out of 10,000 people. That's like nothing. So I think one minor hospitalization wasn't really technically because of the COVID or something else, but they had COVID while they got hospitalized. So no one football wise, but we only had one kid in the whole roster get it, and minor symptoms, nothing crazy, like a cold and congestion, and obviously had body aches, all that jazz. But he was back probably about 3 weeks later, and no one else got it. I mean, we played up at Bangor, Maine, Hudson, game one. We had to drive up in coach buses all up to 6 hours from here up in Bangor, Maine, and nothing of COVID came from that. So, so yeah, I mean, we did a good job with that.
And the plays you have, the kids, for the people just joining us now, I know we can't talk about who. How many Rhode Island kids are you going to have this upcoming class?
22 freshmen.
22 freshmen from Rhode Island. This is going to be, so over under got to be 35. I was saying 35. People thought I was crazy.
It will be 37 to be exact come the fall.
Ooh. Rhode Island can ball, and we're starting to see that. Shout out to Komite, right? Is that his name?
Komite. It's funny when Komite was at JUCO. This is Linus some years back. He'll remember this. He reached out to me, and the minute I saw his film, I said, "First of all, you're a Division I football player, so clear cut, without a doubt." And he kind of had a unique path to the NFL, but I think it made him better as a football player and a person, because all the adversity he's had, he just kind of sailed around it and figured it out and just got better. And I'll be shocked if he doesn't make a roster, because he's just so put together, and he's such a well-spoken young man, and he obviously comes from great genetics because of his other brothers. So he's got all the check the boxes for sure. So I think he's going to do really well in the National Football League. People be like, I guarantee you, a lot of the media people will be like, I can't believe he's this good. And I'm like, well, I can, because I know him. And, obviously his brother's amazing. And he equally in his own position is very talented. He's a bigger DB. He's got a thicker athletic frame than the average DBs. He can play safety. He can play corner. He can roll down the box and tackle like a hybrid linebacker. He can cover like a number one corner. He can do all the check the boxes. And today's defenses, you want people to be able to be multiple. He can do it. He can actually tackle like a linebacker and cover like a true corner. So, so that's valuable if a team decides to shift to empty in the NFL and sling it all over the place. He can be out there. A team lines up into a 20 personnel or a 21 personnel or 22 personnel. He can be in the box and help out and play the run and cover the tight end. So he's very multifaceted. And I think that's the thing that people don't realize about him. is that like he can do all those things. Not every corner can be in the game and tackle like a linebacker.
No, exactly.
Not every
That's a
corner
fact.
can cover a tight end or cover like a hybrid kid like a DJ Metcalf. It's got a freakish frame that's a wideout slash like hybrid. He can do that. So, because of his body, his ability, and he's also trained like a maniac. I mean, his brother works his butt off. If you've ever seen the videos, which is mind blowing how hard he works. And he's the same deal. Like they're very, they push each other in a positive way and they're competitive. So I'm sure, people are going to be shocked what he does. And the fact that he was brought in as an undrafted free agent actually, in a way, kind of helps him because, like, he's not going to be demanding minute one a big first round contract. So he's a commodity because he's potentially is that type of ability, but got overshadowed for I don't know what reason because I've seen him on film. He's pretty darn good. So I think he could have played anywhere FBS. So to me, and he played in New Mexico State before he was finished his undergrad and did his grad year at Northern Colorado. So I mean, to me, I think he's going to be the steal of the draft for that team. So that's going to go very well for the team
There's a few Rhode Island kids this year. I think the kid from Shea recently I heard is goes signed to the Bengals.
Yeah, so we recruited him. He did a overnight here, and then at the time I forget the name of the JUCO that swooped him up. I think it was I don't know if it was Monroe and New York, and so he ends up at Monroe, and which is a very good JUCO, and then he took off like a rocket out of Monroe. He had a lot of offers, and Duquesne was like all in to go get him, which made sense. It was smart by Duquesne, and so he was at Duquesne was right away like a superstar. So, watching him now be this like absolute creature in space, he's long. He's a very long DB. And he does a really good job opening up his hips and getting over the top and and undercutting routes where he needs to press on like inside cutting routes. So he's a different cat. DeBrito what people don't know about him is before high school he was a really good soccer player. His footwork is amazing from soccer. So I remember Coach Mike Murray and Coach Dino, they both had talked about that in the recruiting process, that the reason his footwork was so good, it goes back to playing multiple sports, is that he's cross-trained. He's got unbelievable feet because of soccer. And so you now take that into football and, it made him a great football player. And then it transitioned, obviously, as he went on to become a good collegiate player. So another guy that don't be surprised he makes that roster. I mean, he's got a good frame. You can't him and Komatai both have really unique big frames that can move.
Was it the Steelers or the Bengals?
I think I have to go look. I know DeBrito's with the Steelers, I want to say.
Yes, okay. DeBrito is with the Steelers, and I thought I seen a post earlier where somebody was talking about
Where's Komatai going? I have to look. I know
Kansas City.
KC. Actually, it's going to be a great spot for him. Because they got they got cap issues with now that their quarterback's making like $50 million a year, whatever that is. What people forget about the NFL, it's a business. There's a cap, a salary cap. So have fun figuring out that cap with a 53-man active roster. You're paying a quarterback like almost a 30-year cap. You got to find some hidden gems yesterday. So again, a Komatai Coffee would be a great, we know how good he is, but like people outside of New England might not. So he might be the steal because they need guys like him to make the roster at not a crazy salary for a rookie contract because they need to be able to make that cap work with their quarterback. If they don't, a couple of years from now, they're going to have a hard decision. Do we ask him to renegotiate that crazy contract, or do we cut bait and trade him or release him? Meaning, Patrick Mahomes. And the problem is that he's been like the staple of their offense. So I don't think they're going to be letting go a top 10 quarterback because of money. So now it becomes, how do you make the money work with the cap? So the cap is how you make the money work is you find hidden gems. make the cap lower with the hidden gems and the rookie contracts, that you can get more time with Patrick Mahomes with the current contract he has. So it's a finance numbers game / find the hidden gems. So it's everybody has to try to figure that out in the league, and some teams more than others. So based on what they're paying their quarterback or their top players. So, I think both those guys have a real good shot to be on active rosters this fall, which would be very exciting for Rhode Island and very exciting for them and their families. So kudos to them. I mean, we've had multiple D3 players, like I said, in the last 48 hours get grabbed. There was a kid from our league got grabbed. Josh over at Framingham State, the D end. There was a kid from Castleton, another edge type player. And there was a kid at a school in Texas. And then a kid from Western New England got picked up by the Canadian League. And there's been more scuttlebutt that will probably come out next 2 days of other teams grabbing people. My predictions for high school football, D4 is probably the most predictable. I would say either Smithfield or North Providence for D4.
Ooh.
Smithfield's got a very senior loaded team. We had 4 of their kids up. They're good-looking kids. So I would say Smithfield's got to be top 3 or top 4 in D4. The dark horse might be Davies. They really built, and Coach Henry Cabral's done a good job up there. So, and they're going to continue to build, and it's a good school, and it's going to continue to be a better program. So they could be the 3rd team that's in the mix there. Who knows what happens at EWG? Who knows? I mean, it's a new coach, new staff, new everything. So I don't know what that will look like. I'll know after the first 3 games, but as a college recruiter, so we're looking at one of their linemen, and let's see who else comes out of the mix in that roster. So I think Situate doesn't have a coach right now, so I can't. They have a great quarterback, but they don't have a coach. So who knows what they'll look like offensively, scheme wise, or
Their quarterback's the real deal, do you think?
I can't say his name for recruiting rules, but he's the real deal. He's
for
great.
what you have seen.
Yeah, what I've seen, we like. So, he's a 2024 kid. He'll be a junior this fall, so he's got a lot of time to develop. I mean, that's and Central Falls could have a good team. They're going back down to D4. It's one of the smaller schools in the state. And Jeff, the head coach there, does a great job. And I got to tell you what, he works hard with what limited resources he has. So, they could be in the mix. It's just tough. I mean, you would like to see Hope have more numbers as a team. I think the head coach is trying to do that. So we'll see. I mean, the COVID timeframe, the COVID year kind of like really threw some curveballs in some of these teams. So D2 and D3, I think right now is too early to tell because they're completely new leagues now. They're like hybrid leagues. It's like D3 / part of D2 or D2 / part of the old D1. At the end of the day. So, it would be tough to tell. I mean, Portsmouth is always strong. So, and they're now in D2. EP is always athletic, and they're now in D2. So they could make a run down there. South Kingston's down there now. They have a bunch of good players. They're seniors this fall. It'll be interesting to see. I know, D1, the Power 4 league now. I mean, I think Henrik and LaSalle are pretty close to each other as far as ability. I think the difference is Henriken has more depth in the offensive line and body numbers, but they both have really good skill kids. So we'll see. I mean, the game this year in this fast fall was a shootout. It was it's an absolute shootout. Those 2 teams this past fall, it came down the wire. We have a kid we have 5 kids coming from LaSalle, and one of the kids is a great kick returner, amongst other things he can do. And I was shocked they even kicked him at all. And they kicked him once, and I was standing underneath the scoreboard in the end zone against the fence, and I blinked. The next thing you know, he's walking into the end zone. So I was like, whoa, it's like a Porsche on feet. So, we have him coming, and so, I mean, they both have the ability to make big plays. So, the Brandon Duran kid's graduating and going to Kentucky to go knock it out of the park out there. And he's a great athlete and has been a staple the last 2 years. They're everything at Hendricken. So, but you don't know. I'm sure they'll have another comparable athlete. So, I mean, both those teams have kids that have offers Division I already. So, and there's a bunch of kids in both rosters in the next class that we're looking at. So they're always going to, both those teams are always going to be in the conversation. So, I think Central is really athletic and well coached now, and they've really progressed that program forward. It was always good, always had athletes, but it's becoming a really good program. And then, the other thing is NK. NKs, they're big and they're athletic. So those 4 teams, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Coach Dempsey does a great job with them as well.
Yeah, Fran played at Rhody. For Coach Trainer. And I think, if I want to remember, he was with Stowers too. I don't know. I have to look at the years, but
don't count out. It says Central and Westerly in D1 and D2.
I don't. So Wesley will be good. They have very good moving parts. They have a good coaching staff. I'm a Wesley grad, so I always recruit for them to win. So, and I'm friends with the coaching staff, so it kind of, I think that Wesley just has to stay healthy. Anytime you have a roster of less than 60, something, 70 guys, health is a big piece of the puzzle. You look at St. Ray's this year; they had a monster team. They came out of the gate like a ball of fire, and they had a lot of key injuries like back into the season. They had 4 or 5 of their best horses dinged up or out. I was at the Moses Brown game, and they were dinged up. They had a lot of injuries, and so and I've been through that as a college coach. I mean, we've had a lot of injuries, and it starts to take a major effect. It affects your wins and losses. So, we've done recruiting to try to fix that problem. So, Saints will be up there again. They have another good class of seniors coming back. A couple will obviously recruiting. So I think all the levels will be competitive. I just think that down 4, you'll have 3 or 4 monster teams that rule the roost, and the other half of the division won't be so to go good. And so let's see how that plays out. 3 and 2. Depending how they design the playoff schedule. I haven't seen the playoff schedule yet. It's multiple rounds. That could be intriguing. Where somebody that's really good could get knocked off by somebody that's not as on paper as good, and if you just get the right seeding, it could work out for you. So,
no one thought Glasgow was going to knock off St. Ray's coming down towards the end of the year.
When I saw the injuries mounting, I was like, that's going to be a problem. I've been there, so
West Warwick gave St. Ray's a tough game, and after that, they just one game at a time from that West Warwick point on. Mount Pleasant, Westerly, they seem to lose one guy at a time each game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's a reason the Buchanan kid from Glasgow is a Gatorade Player of the Year. I saw a video where literally it didn't matter which way they put the ball in his hand, he was making plays. So there's a reason URI scholarshiped him. They probably saw what we saw. We're like, wow, this kid can run the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball. It's like, the old cartoons, Bugs Bunny on first, Bugs Bunny on second, Bugs Bunny on third. That's pretty much what it was you watch Buchanan out there just make plays, and he's not the only one. They have other crazy good athletes on that roster. They had 2 linemen. One's going to Rhody. It's like 6'6", 6'7". The other one's like 6'6", who's a junior who was looking at Rhody a couple weeks ago, was visiting. I know that for a fact. Quarterback was really talented. The other moving parts were really talented. They just had guys. They're well coached. Their head coach played Division I football at UConn, and he's a really smart guy, and and he does a good job. So I wasn't surprised, especially when the injuries started happening, because it made St. Ray's less explosive. Week early in the year they beat NK, a D1 team.
Yeah.
So, and Saints was very healthy, and injuries is big. So we'll see. For example, Wesley's a tough place to play. They get big crowds. They're very enthusiastic. The school's all in on it. So, it's a hard place to play at that place. But there's other hard places to play in Rhode Island. So, they're not the only one. So, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of good teams still. I mean, Class will still have good players. You know, though Buchanan's gone, it's hard to replace a Gatorade Player of the Year, and they've had 2 the last 2 years, which is nuts. That's hard to create that. So, and that's both academics and athletics, Mikey. The Gatorade Player of the Year has to have good grades. It can't be, a 2.5 GPA. You have to have good grades. So, to get that award, because it's the Gatorade picks it, so they do the due diligence on it. But
that's very interesting. Yeah, I think that was the best athlete in the state, hands down. Buchanan, the kid was amazing. Excuse me. Yeah, he was just amazing. Things I see, even in all sports, basketball, I said like the things that kid does. So it's no surprise that URI took him. But Coach McCormack, man, I think we covered everything, right? Oh, I'm sure Jimmy Cook's on here and West Pennington. They play each other. What do you think? What do you think?
Well, where's it being played at?
Let's see if they comment. I don't have it up in front of me, but
Is it up in the woods or down here in Kent County?
Oh wow! All of a sudden, here it comes. Here comes all the comments. I have a few guys you will look at. Where's the game at, gentlemen? West Warwick.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
That game will be on YouTube.
When during the season? September, October, November?
What is it? The third week, guys? Break it down for Coach. He said shit.
So you're going to ask me an analytical question. I need all the variables.
Gotta love him.
This is how I operate. So I need all the variables.
First game. Ooh.
So I've always said, like, teams start going about game 3 is when you see the full throttle without injuries. So that's like where teams, that's where they're, because like teams can have like mistakes game 1 and like figure out game 2 and game 3. They hit the pavement running, so to speak. So game 1, who's more senior loaded?
West Warwick for sure.
Ah,
There are 9,000 seniors.
Who's got a kicker?
I'm
going to ask you all these questions.
Let's see. First league game, second game of the season. Okay, who has a kicker? I'm not even sure who has who the kicker is, but Jimmy Cook's coming out of. Well, he said Jimmy Cook says Florida State. This dude, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
But West Warwick is pretty, they have Brady Malay, great athlete, good quarterback. I seen him in basketball this season. Jimmy Cook says he has the kicker. So Coach Penn is back to you.
That can be the difference. Trust me, I've seen that happen before.
Coach Penn said we do. So it might be a back and forth, but I know Pontiganset loses a great amount of seniors. They still have some big kids up there. They have a decent line. They can still run the ball. You have guys returning.
Both teams have good running backs. So
you got a new DC up there in Ponoland. That's Pontiganset with 1 T.
With 1 T. Yeah, I love when people say that. I'll say this. I'm not going to pick the winner. I'll say this game's going to go down to like 21.
Oh, you said, but they have a great chain crew. But your chain crew don't go to West Warwick. Do you travel with your chain crew? Said we have a great chain crew. That's awesome.
That's funny. Who are their non-leagues?
I have to get the schedule up here. Hold on 1 second. Ryan's good.
What?
I said, you're good. Gotta get up pretty early, get one over on this dude. Hang on, let me see. Varsity schedule. How's your schedule look while I'm looking this up?
It's set. We play week 1 home against Husson. Week 2, we play Anna Maria on the road as non-league. Dean wouldn't play us. They wouldn't renew the contract. I think it was because the 40-something points were dropped to them. And then we go into league play, come back home against Framingham, and we go into the rest of our league games. We have 5 home, 5 away.
Wes said they got the better D coordinator. Oh, we have a great. He has a great D coordinator. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You know, yeah, Coach Fulton over there. You know, dialing it up. Cranston West for us, I think in the beginning. You played North Smithfield, yeah. So they played North Smithfield first, and that's the non-league games that you was asking about.
So Cranston West for them. Cranston West could be down a little bit this year. I don't know. They were a little bit less explosive this year. When you lose somebody like Cam Alls, who's now a starter for Stonehill, and they're going D1 next year, versus EP and Cranston East. Ooh, those are good scrimmages.
Yeah, them are very good scrimmages.
Those are great scrimmages. I'm definitely getting prepared for the league, the new league.
You know, there are a lot of competitive games in all these divisions. I think that's the only good thing that came out of it.
I was hearing a lot of people were not really happy with the realignment, and I thought that, well, a lot of teams didn't want to play Henrik and LaSalle. I kept hearing that undercurrent, you know, but I think it kind of, in a way, played out for the most part. I mean, the only way it could. I mean, if you weren't going to play Henrik and LaSalle, you're going to shuffle up the divisions, and Kane Central wanted to play them, then, you know, it's not. I would have probably added 1 or 2 more teams to D4. But again, I'm not on the committee, so I have no say. Just looking at, there was a couple of teams like, I don't know if they can, how well they do up in D3. I think they should really be in D4. But, you know, for an enrollment standpoint, you got to have enrollment to play in the upper divisions. But, I mean, we'll see how it works out. I'm sure.
Blame that on West for winning a damn Super Bowl. Just kidding, Wes.
So Coach Bankin had said that they're playing Woodstock Academy as a scrimmage. They're a very good school. We tried to get their quarterback this year. He's going to D2 Assumption University. So it's funny, I actually know the kid's mother from college. And so Woodstock's a good program. Very good program. And not that far, actually. He can probably get there in probably 45 minutes, 50 minutes, basically. It's right up 395 in the Rhode Island, Connecticut.
So do we ever come down to who's going to win this West Warwick final game?
I said my prediction is this. Whoever wins is going to be like 21-24.
There you go. 21-24. Coach, I know you get up early, man. It's been awesome. It's been great. We're going to definitely talk to you in the next couple of weeks once we get your roster figured out. Talk about all these great Rhode Island kids that you're bringing over there.
Yeah, we'll update our roster.
I don't think any of these guys know who they're playing. You know, shout out to let's say, I'm sorry, I'm the same scrimmage Lincoln and North Providence is playing. We'll get it figured out soon. You know,
is any of them playing anyone out of state this year?
Just for a scrimmage right now. I know there's a lot of out of state games.
No, I know it's scrimmage in Woodstock. So, I know some other teams are looking at potentially playing out-of-state teams like from New Hampshire or Connecticut or Mass.
Yeah, Cumberland has a couple. Cumberland has an out-of-state game. Hendricken has a few. They're playing that New Hampshire team that's coming down here. They're also going to Iona They're gonna have a game against Iona.
They have a long-standing agreement with Iona Prep, so well, at least that's what it sounds to me. So they like that game. Iona Prep is always very strong, and it's not a crazy ride to where Iona is, so it's probably 3 hours maybe. So it's not crazy far.
LaSalle also playing a couple out of state games. But I know the beef is in Massachusetts. If I guess the new Mass rule is that they don't get the credit for the points for an out of state opponent. So that's why Mass don't want to play no more out of state teams, because if they, I guess, the point differential, and that's why the New Hampshire team is coming to Rhode Island.
Makes sense.
So yeah, but Coach, thank you.
Eastern Connecticut. I mean, I recruit Connecticut along with Rhode Island and many other states, but it is so easy to get over the border. And there's a league there called the ECC, that it's just this same distance if you go from like West Warwick to like Bristol, Rhode Island. You're just going the other direction. So, I mean, and the teams are fairly comparable to like our D2 teams, I would say. So, I mean, another option to look at. I don't know how that plays in their scheduling, but, our Connecticut kids from the ECC are very comparable to our Rhode Island kids, we feel, ability-wise. So, and I've seen them play. I mean, Wesley plays Stonington, Rhode Island, and it's always a good game. And
it's always good, yeah.
They're one of the smaller teams for enrollment, but, there's bigger teams like NFA over in Norwich, or Killingly over in the Killingly-Darlington area, or like East Lyme down East Lyme, Connecticut, or New London, or, Fitch, or, I mean, there's a lot of good teams over there they could play. That's a good competition. It's not insane competition. So, I mean, you go and play something like St. Joe's and the other side of Connecticut, they're really good, lights out good. So, or like Daniel Hand out of Madison, they're probably like a bigger, better, more athletic NK with more kids. So, we got a kid coming from there. That program is no joke. So, they have a field turf practice field and a field turf game field. And the field turf game field at Daniel Hand is on the ocean. So, it's like if you put a stadium in like MCCORMACK Beach parking lot. Pretty wild.
That would be pretty awesome.
Pretty wild. It's sweet, actually.
If anybody wants to reach Coach McCormack, he's on social media everywhere, and you could definitely count on you. Someone said earlier that Ryan McCormack is the GOAT, and we hear that a lot, and I think it's because how hard you work. I heard people say, like, I better not let anyone hear anyone say a bad thing about Coach McCormack. Vincenzo said you are the GOAT. Coach Cook says, this is his alias, puts time into Rhode Island student athletes. And I tell everybody, like, one thing about Rhode Island football, you can always expect to see a recruiter in the fans somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I say this to Rhode Island high school coaches. I played in Rhode Island. I grew up in Rhode Island. I've lived 9% of my life in Rhode Island. I wasn't born in Rhode Island. I moved here before third grade. My parents bought a house here from Leominster, Mass. So, my big thing is I always say, like, Rhode Island high school coaches, any high school coach can reach out to me from Rhode Island and end up at my will call. So I always allow them, free admissions in my will call and come to our games, and to kind of, I want them to see the product we put out in the field. I think it's pretty impressive. I think we've gotten better over every year, and, we're starting to show in wins and losses and championships and things of that nature. So, my main job other than coaching the running backs is running recruiting here. So, we have kids coming from 10 states this class, so, which is not easy to do. And, it's hard to get a DN from California. It's hard to get a DN/D tackle from Ohio. It's hard to get a DN from Maine or a D line from Connecticut. We get kids from everywhere, quarterback from Florida. So, we get kids from up and down the coast. So, and we're going to expand our recruiting further. We're going to start really getting hard into South Carolina. We already have a wideout from Louisiana. We want more kids out of there. So we're going to make a real push in those regions.
You hear that, guys? You know who. You all hear that? UMass is making a bigger push.
Well, we always want to, either, I always live this mantra, either getting better or you're getting worse. You're never going to stay the same. So we always take a deep look in the mirror and say, what do we need to do to be better than we were before? Better than we were the year before? Is it more hours? I don't think I'm running out of hours these days. My days start at 3. Ask my wife. I'll end about 11, and I'll be back at it tomorrow. So, literally, it's what can we do better? And we were not too proud to say we need to get better at this or get better at that. We're doing okay, but okay is not good enough. So, so we really kind of work on that as a staff. So, we're actually, before we started this podcast, we were bantering back and forth, and a coaches grouped me about if you could just say your best 11 guys in the roster on offense. And that was the hardest banter on the planet because we have more than 11 nasty guys that are all good. So it became very interesting. People are arguing, no, I need like 18. I need like 20 guys. So it was funny because
you got some mutants, and we could definitely, and I say that respectfully, we can definitely get into that again. But some of the players you got, man, you're just bringing in you're building a machine up there, and you and the other guys on the staff is doing an amazing job, Coach. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know you gotta get up early. I gotta get up early. Look, West Pennington said you're the hottest working college coach in America. That's awesome coming from a guy like West Pennington.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I tell people all the time I don't really need accolades, but I do appreciate it. I try. It's just what I do. I don't ever say, oh, I don't ever say, well, I'm the hardest working guy. I just kind of do what I do, and if it comes out to look like that, then that's a good thing, I guess.
Ryan ain't saying it. I say he should be in that Gridiron Hall of Fame, that Providence Gridiron Club, all them things. But anyway, he won't say it, but I'll say it. But thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Talk to you soon, and I don't know. I think by the time we speak again, you'll have a few more than Rhode Island kids. I seen the boat left the shores of Rhode Island a couple of weeks ago with some key pieces. I love that one. That was awesome.
Well, we got one more key big time Division I transfer. That's a Rhode Island based kid. And if it actually works out, you got to wait for his grades to close the semester where he's at. I think some people are going to be very shocked that he's here. Because I told people before, don't be surprised he ends up here. So I'll give you that little tidbit and see what happens.
There we go. Good luck to you guys, and good luck to UMass Dartmouth, man. Big things this year. All right, Coach. Have a good one.
You too.
Coach Ryan McCormack, UMass Dartmouth. He coached Rhode Island high school football for a couple of years. I think he was at Rogers and Middletown for a year apiece. But yeah, great guy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Coach Penn. Definitely go to rallypointministries.org and support Coach Pennington's new book. He's actually writing another book, so go there and definitely support him. Great guy. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate everything. I guess that's about it, man. We'll get to football very soon. Let me get to this last comment. Oh, okay. Let me get back to where I was.
It's more than Family Guy. I know you heard of your boy Japan, and I'm rocking out with Chris Clark. He from the West Coast, I'm from Rhode Island. Let's get it going now. It's how it's going down. Brody got its own style. Smallest state in the nation, but we so proud. Yeah, we so proud. Screaming out loud. Here we go. Come on. Haven for the hustlers.